Welcome. This video is to help you create a 3D model of a heat sink, which can be done entirely in ANSYS DiscoveryLive without needing to import that file from another program like Fusion 360. The minimal viable product we need to create includes a cylinder with a cube of aluminum attached to the top. To draw this, I'm going to start with the sketch tool, selecting the circle for the cylinder base. It's always nice to have your design symmetrical around the origin if you can. When I start to draw out my circle, you're going to notice right away that the units indicated in the blue box there are in millimeters, and everything that we had was defined in inches. So I'm going to hit escape to get out of that and show you that you can change the units of the entire program by going up to File and then down here to Live Options. The menu has all of these options. If we go straight to units, we can see that the units here are metric, and we can switch it to imperial, and the default one there is inches. So I'll say OK. Now when I go back to drawing my circle, the units there are the ones that are client defined. I'm going to type directly in with my keyboard 0.5. We have a 1/2 inch cylindrical rod that is the base of our cylinder. Then I'm going to leave the sketch mode and go into 3D view by using the pull tool to take this circle and pull it up a certain amount. The length of our cylinder could be no less than 5 and no more than 7 inches in length, so I'll select 6 for our initial starting point here. The pull tool, I no longer want that, so I'll deselect that, and I will hold down shift and the mouse wheel to pan this a little bit lower to see the top. Now we're going to put a cube of aluminum on here, so I need to sketch a square and then pull that up 3-dimensionally. So going back to my sketch menu, I'm going to find the square tool, and a square is a type of rectangle, so we'll begin with that. Whenever you go to sketch after you've got something 3-dimensional, you usually have to define your sketch plane. That's the first click. So I've already got the very top of my circle here, which was selected when I went for that option, being defined as the thing that I'm sketching on. You can always change that using some of the navigation buttons here. The square itself is going to be tricky to define if we don't do it from the center point, because I want this cube to be perfectly centered. So up here, when you've got the active tool, there's usually some additional things that you can do. In the gear wheel here, I see I've got the option to define the rectangle from the center. So I'm going to click that, click the center point here, and now that I pull this out, I can see it's always defined from the center. The exact dimensions are going to be 1 inch by 1 inch. So I'll hit 1 and then tab on the keyboard to go to the other length and hit 1. Both of those are in units of inches already, so I'll just hit enter to commit that. Now we've defined a 1 inch square. That 1 inch square needs to be 1 inch tall, so switching back to the pull tool. One of the things that when we start to pull, you want to make sure this cube is solid. If I just select the outside here, it'll leave this flat, it won't pull it up. And to include both of those, I'll click one to begin with, hold down shift, and then click the other. Actually, it's hold down control and click the other. So as long as you have control held down, you can click any faces that you want to add. When I start to begin pulling this, I see a text box there that allows me to type in on the keyboard exactly what I want, which is 1 inch. Enter. The product that we end up with here is the minimal viable product. Great starting point for our project. We can run thermal analyses on this as a baseline and then see what happens as we change some of the aspects of the geometry here, like adding more surface area. In the next video, I'll show how to set up that analysis and get some baseline data from this.